But we cannot use these rays of sunshine to ignore those whose actions reflect the very worst of our society. The racist thugs who attacked a mosque in Southport, the sectarian gang who burned down a Muslim-owned shop in Belfast, the mob who set fire to a hotel housing migrants in Rotherham. We need to ask ourselves how we got here and what we must do about it. Too often over the last 2 decades or more, we have avoided being brutally honest about the underlying social unrest across society, preferring instead the warmth and false comfort of denial and complacency. Bombs have been detonated and we've moved on. Attempted terror attacks have gone without much comment. Wicked and violent crimes have taken place with little said or done. In May, a 9-year-old girl was shot in a drive-by attack in London. 2 weeks later, 3 little girls, aged 6, 7, and 9, roughly the age of my own children, were stabbed to death as they danced to Taylor Swift in Southport. The denial has taken many forms, from displacement to forgetfulness. My friend, Sir David Amos, was murdered nearly 3 years ago by a fanatical Islamist. And instead, we found ourselves, for no related reason, debating online civility. And then, 4 years ago, 3 gay men were murdered in an unprovoked attack in a park in Reading. We were told that we would debate what happened and why after the trial. By the time the attacker was in prison, the country had moved on, and of course, we never did have that conversation. After the attack on those little girls in Southport, Nigel Farage claimed the truth is being withheld from us. Later, he justified amplifying this false information by saying he had believed influencers like Andrew Tate and chose to condemn the breakdown of law and order preceding the riots, but not the riots themselves. Now, I want to be clear, this is not leadership. It is deeply irresponsible and dangerous. Later, when gangs of masked men gathered in Birmingham brandishing weapons and, live on camera, threatened female journalists and attempted to slash the tires of broadcast vans, Jess Phillips, a Home Office minister, chose to justify their behavior instead of condemning it. Because these were not far-right hooligans, but young Muslim men. One man attacked by these vigilantes ended up in hospital. This was a failure of leadership just as surely as that of Nigel Farage. And it is not the only failure of leadership by Keir Starmer's government over these last 2 weeks. Today, I want to talk about the future of our police and criminal justice system and the problems we face with violence, extremism, and social trust. This isn't about the state. This is about who we are as a society. But first, I want to consider the issue of leadership. This has been the government's first real test, and the Prime Minister fell short. When we needed a strong government, we got a party in the mindset of opposition. We needed a leader. We got a lawyer waiting for the case to reach court. These are early days for the government, and government isn't easy, but government isn't a game either. It is more than press releases and retweets, and you can't be wise with hindsight, something Labour mastered in opposition. You have to be determined and aware throughout. You have to be ready to do the job from day one. Public order is too precious, too essential to all of us to be taken for granted. As Conservatives, we understand that order is not the product of freedom, rather our freedom depends on order. None of us are bystanders. We don't have that luxury. Once lost, public order can be difficult to regain, and social unrest can rear its head, which is why the police response to disorder must always be swift and determined. For officers on the street, policing a violent crowd is a dangerous job. We sometimes hear of the need to go softly and to make arrests later. But visible lawlessness is radicalizing. It encourages others to join in and to commit crime.